Are you a voting member of the NRA? My name is Lucretia Hughes NRA. I will never compromise my beliefs in God, family, our country, and my Second Amendment. I am running for the board of directors of the NRA, and I would appreciate your vote. They left our soldiers behind, and now we know why they was telling all of those soldiers over there to stand down. They was covering their own ass cheeks on the bequests and the backs and the souls of our soldiers. Karma, it's very upsetting. It's very upsetting. I saw a video in which Barry said he was not born in the United States. He was born in Kenya, just like his grandmother said. His brother came out and told you that. Well, look at that background. Hey, Benji. In the Oval Office and everything. Let me see where Monica Lewinsky feet was hanging out at. Move your head, Benji. Slide over. Let me see if I can see.
Conservatives and our Christian allies through a variety of educational, informative events and programs and initiatives, and that's what we're doing here in the DFW area, and that's what we plan to do in hopefully cities across the country very soon, starting this year.
Are you having any pushbacks like you are on college campuses or in society in general, especially with the anti-Semites?
So not here locally, thank God. We're really not getting a lot of pushback. I would say actually the evangelical Christians have been incredible supporters of what we're doing. I always joke I'd have 10 members without the Christian support. But no, it's the unity between Jews and Christians is so important right now with the anti-Semitism that we're facing, with all the anti-Israel pushback. And so we're just putting the truth out there. We're fighting through the noise and letting people know that we're here to stick with Israel, our greatest ally in the world. And it's been tough. It's been I'm not gonna lie, it's been a rough couple of years since October 7th. And that really changed everything. And it certainly changed the calculus on the whole notion of a two-state solution in Israel. That ship has sailed, that's long gone. But I think overwhelmingly, at least here in Dallas, there's a lot more prominent pro-Israel voices than there are naysayers and voices that are trying to drown us out. And of course, there's crazy things going on at UNT and UTD and some of these college campuses. There are Hamas sympathizers and protesters, but thankfully we've been able to raise above that, and it's really just noise at this point.
Wait a minute, wasn't it in Texas? Yeah, it was in Dallas that one of the Turning Point Action people was hit upside the head with a bike lock. Recently, and maybe like 2 days ago. And then you having the stuff that's happening up in New York and in California. How are, I'm gonna say we, because I am saved by the blood. So, and I know what the Bible say. If you turn your back on Israel, I will turn my back on you. I don't want God to turn his back on me. So I love Kufi and the rest of it. What can we, as being people, as you say, Christians out here, how can we help our brothers and sisters in Christ?
Well, I mean, if you bless Israel, you'll be blessed. That's the saying, and it's so true. And so many of our members and friends understand that, and they've been supported with whether it's physically going to Israel and supporting the Jewish people, or it's giving their time or their resources or their dollars to causes that are helping displaced Jews since October 7th, or there's going to helping the IDF soldiers with supplies and needs, and the mental health issues now that are going on in Israel, which are astronomical, which isn't talked about enough. You can only imagine how people are feeling after such an event. So it's there's a lot of different ways to support the Jewish people. And obviously one of the ways is supporting our organization, because we're doing a ton of Israel events, in addition to local, federal, state level events and so many different political things. We've done 12 events just alone ourselves, our organization, since October 7th, including some very large marches and rallies and fundraisers for Israel. So all the support that you guys are giving us, we love it, and we're utilizing every penny to go to educating people on the issues, and also giving back to those organizations, those nonprofits that need the help, for sure.
So have you made that pilgrimage yet to Have you went to the Wailing Wall? Have you been to Israel?
I've been many times. I had not post October 7th. I actually was in Israel a month before all this went down. and I was there studying on a trip with a couple of good friends of mine. But no, I'm overdue for another pilgrimage over there, and need to, I'm overdue. That's all I can say. It's on my list of things to do. I actually want to do an event together with my organization with other Jews and Christians and take a whole delegation there. That would be really the dream. So that maybe that's something we can work on for maybe the end of this year, next year.
Now, I know a lot of people, and me personally, I'm just going to say me personally, when it comes to the government, on both sides, government, any government, I'm more of the people, ground people. People of the people boots on the ground, the regular citizens of America, the regular citizens of Israel. I try to not get into that type of political back and forth. I'm only just going to stand up for what the Bible says. But when it comes to that, how do you combat people when they try to throw it out there that the government of Israel, is the ones that's having the hard problem, causing all of this stuff with the American, and I'm talking about the stuff that you hear on college campuses, stuff that you're hearing from Hamas people up at these riots and these protests, and how they're pro-Palestinian or pro-Hamas, all of this. How do you combat that? What do you say back to these people? Do you say, listen, I'm not in that. I'm more worried about the people that actually lives in Israel. What do you say to these people that want to bring that up and try to make that argument?
Well, they first need to understand the amounts of resources and technology and products that Israel gives to the United States, many of which these protesters foolishly, they're using Israeli products. They probably don't even have any idea that they're using products that were created in Israel, and so many other things along those lines. But this is our greatest ally in the world. I mean, this is the only democracy in the Middle East. Most folks don't know their history. They don't know the Torah. They don't know the Bible. They don't know the history of how Jews came about to even have the land of Israel. So it's knowing the facts, knowing the history, and it's also, people don't, they show like a Palestinian kid, for instance, tragically killed. Obviously, we don't want any. We're not into killing innocent civilians. Nobody wants that. It's a horrible part of war. But they'll show this horrible imagery, and they'll not report on the fact that Hamas is putting these epicenters of weaponry and they're launching these rocket attacks from schools, from hospitals, from homes. And so they're not understanding that, the Palestinian people voted for Hamas. Let's not forget that fact. They made a terrible mistake in voting for Hamas. And since October 7th, only recently, and this has got a little bit of coverage recently, have you seen some of them finally saying, "Oh no, now we want a ceasefire. Now it's we want Israel to stop."
That was yesterday or the day before yesterday, where you had I don't want to call West Bank people, West Bank people saying, "You know what? We denounce Hamas. We don't want them anywhere in Gaza Strip. Get them out of here. Take them out by any means necessary. We want peace." What do they do? What do they do when you do have Hamas embedded in hospitals? I don't know if they call them suburbia. When you have them in schools, when you have these tunnels underneath all of these places, and they're still finding hostages. What do the people of the West Bank do if they know they're not the ones that's doing all this? Do they turn these people in? Or do they get out there and start denouncing them like they did this week?
They're in a very tough situation because Hamas will ultimately kill them if they find them doing that in many cases, going against them. And but where were they for the last year and a half until recently? They were silent. They could have had an uprising. The other people talking about innocent civilians and whatnot could have had way more people come out and try to say, this is not right. We're against Hamas. We totally condemn what they did on October 7th. It was absolutely disgusting. But not just there, but in the U.S., you're not hearing enough. You were never hearing the kind of voices from that other side saying these kind of things.
Did you forget who was in the White House when all this happened? Did you forget the scallywags and his administration? They gave how many billions of dollars to make a bridge or I don't know what you call it, a whole road of something. What was it that turned over?
Billions of dollars to Iran,
Yes, and oh, wait a minute. They built a whole port, a pier. They built that pier, wasted all that money for Hamas when they could have been given it to rebuild a lot of Israel. I don't understand the.
Yeah, the money got routed to the
one.
Palestinian Authority, got routed to Iran and their proxies, the Houthis, Hezbollah, Hamas. This is the Gaza Strip could have been an oasis. Israel gave them many chances, as you know, to make peace and to have a land and a region of their own. It could have been flourishing. That's why I actually like Trump's recent proposition to take over Gaza and make it into Tamara Gaza. We'll see how far that goes, but ultimately that place is a total wasteland now. They need to have it. They should go and be put into another. Egypt should take some of them. Some of the other countries should take some of these refugees at this point. I don't know if they're going to ever do it, but I think it's the point is they're always trying to blame Israel, and conveniently Israel is it's always talked about as they're only a victim for so long, and then it changes and they say, we want to say Israel's an oppressor, they're an occupier. Reality is, if it wasn't for Israel, so many of the Arabs and Muslims have incredible opportunities. The ones that are living in Israel have amazing opportunities, the same rights as any other Israeli. People don't even talk about that. And you go to these other countries and they have not even close to the opportunities that Israel has. So I think, again, it's just all about having, making peace, but it's hard to make peace when one side wants to kill you, wants your ultimate demise. And it's going to be a hard thing to swallow, a hard pill to swallow, I think, for the other side, because they have to recognize Israel as a democracy and as a Jewish state. And I don't think they're ready for that, and they never probably will be ready for that. But Trump is the only guy I think that maybe has a chance to be able to make this happen. So we'll see what happens.
What do you think about having our citizens do just like Israelis do and serve their nation in some kind of form of military just for a couple of years in order to have that nation pride? What do you feel about that? Mandatory after you get out of high school, serve in the military for 2 years and then get out.
Well, it's interesting. Israel is about the size of New Jersey, so it's much easier from a standpoint of just manpower. But it's great. That is why there's a lot of Jewish pride, and there's a lot of pride in the citizens of Israel, because they are forced to do that. It is mandatory to serve, and instills a certain level of pride in your country. So, I don't know if America is quite ready for that. I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily, but it's also, I think, part of our freedoms is being able to choose that, I think, and also, and honor those who made that ultimate sacrifice and who are signing up to put their lives in line for our freedom. So on the other side of that coin, it's, part of me thinks that you should have a choice, but I do understand why Israel does it, and it definitely has a lot of benefits, and I can see that in the types of people that they churn out,
Wow. So this is what I'm thinking, because we have gotten a lot of our technology from Israel. What do you think would happen if the innovation and the technology and some of the inventions that we have received from Israel, if they cut us off? Do you think we would be able to do the same thing without their help as being their ally?
I don't think so. And I think that the amount of intel that Israel provides the United States is invaluable. Technology, Tel Aviv is one of the biggest technology hubs in the entire world. Many products are created in Israel, and they just had a couple of major acquisitions recently that came out of Israel in the tech space. I don't know. America has got a lot of talent. Obviously, we got great people here, but there are certain things that I guess there's a reason why a little country the size of New Jersey has turned out, I can't remember the exact number, but several Nobel Peace Prize winners. And on the technology front, some of the most incredible, also medical discoveries for cancer and other treatments, 3D printing for organs and bones, unbelievable stuff coming out of Israel in many different sectors. So they're an invaluable partner for us, absolutely.
So what would you like to see, even in your organization and in your group? How do you want to expand that, and what do you see you doing within the next year?
Yeah, a great question. So I want to be in every major city, every major hub in the United States. Believe it or not, I have people that are driving or flying to come to some of our events from Louisiana, Oklahoma, Colorado. It's just unbelievable. They're saying we don't have anything that exists like this in our city, in our state. And so, we're all about events and programs and making it fun and interesting for people and getting them motivated and activated to get involved in the political process. And I thought also another big pillar of what we do is affecting outcomes of the ballot box. I mean, I thought we did a great job this last election cycle of getting more Jewish conservatives to go to the polls, vote for President Trump, vote up and down the ballot for conservative candidates, and we're going to continue to do so. But that's my goal, is to be in at least a few other cities this year and kind of just keep growing from there. It's kind of like a franchise model, what we've designed. I have everything ready on a silver platter to have a chapter president, whether it's a man or woman, running their respective city, doing at least 1 to 2 events in their city, keeping people engaged. And so that's my ultimate goal. And we want to also partner with charities like Israel 365 is one of the charities that we've partnered with, who's doing incredible work in Israel. We also partner with other veterans charities. So while we're we're an LLC, whereas currently that's how we're formed as LLC, we might start a PAC, but we also want to be able to be someone that's somewhat of a conduit to partner with these other nonprofits to help further those agendas as well. So that's kind of our ultimate goal.
Now, on college campuses, because there are some groups, there's different groups, different societies, different organizations. Have you thought about connecting with the college campuses, or maybe even high school or Jewish community centers, to get out there and tell them we are doing this organization, would y'all like to come and join?
Yeah, so college students is a kind of its own group, and we haven't focused on it per se. I think most of our demographic has been more like 35 to 65, which is great.
Ooh.
But I do want to get more young people involved. And funny that you mentioned that. I actually just recently got appointed as the vice president and ambassador for Turning Point USA New York. So that's some breaking news recently.
Now, wait a minute, congratulations. And
Yeah.
the Jewish community up there is one of the largest communities, but they vote Democrat. How you going to switch their mind frame?
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's the $1 million question. I found I used to try to quote unquote convert the other side over. At this point, all we can do is put out the facts and information. We try to bring in dynamic speakers talking about, for instance, and kind of segue into some of the other things we have going on. But we have an event coming up that has to do with the Ukraine-Russia war. You want to get a perspective on that. You might be an American that doesn't have any clue about what's going on in that part of the world. So we have General Robert Spalding coming in and Mark Fulmer, both 2 best-selling authors. They're going to be having a very, I would say, heated discussion, debate, whatever you want to call it, in an audience Q&A. And we're going to talk about the Ukraine-Russia war. And then we have Brigitte Gabriel coming in May 1st, huge speaker coming in, talking about what's been going on in Israel, talking about radical Islam, along with Eric Stackelback, who will be the special guest at that event. So I think it's just about putting educational opportunities in front of people, and just having normal conversations. Like, sometimes when you just take Trump's name out of it, also sometimes when you just say like, hey, do you agree with this or that? Like, take the personality out of it. Take the mean tweets out of it for a second, which I actually find to be very nice, but a lot of people don't like it. So just talk about the fundamental issues, like who doesn't want to have lower taxes, Who doesn't want to have secure borders? Who doesn't want to have safe streets? I mean, there's a lot of these issues are just, they transcend party. And the ones that want open borders, those are too far gone. You're not going to win those people over. But there's a lot of people that I think that are more in the middle ground, or maybe socially liberal and more fiscally conservative, that we can win over. I think just having those conversations is helpful.
And being in New York, we know that's one of the ground levels for a lot of protests and a lot of riots against Jews in Israel. How are you going to combat that with Turning Point?
Well, I'm just getting started with Turning Point, so I don't want to say too much about Turning Point. I literally just got my feet wet with them, so that just happened. But I think I can speak for my organization, and also, I guess, in accordance with Turning Point, that you have to call it anti-Semitism on all sides of the aisle. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's not a left or right issue, and I've done that personally. I've called it on both sides. There's factions of the Republican Party that have that issue, and there's factions certainly in the Democrat Party, way more so than the Republican Party, that has that issue. And I think you have to stay consistent, and you have to understand that this is a deep-rooted ideology that stems way back, before either of us were alive. This is going back to the time that the Jews received the Torah at Mount Sinai. That's where this certain level of I don't know if it's jealousy. There's a lot of reasons why people say that that there's anti-Semitism. against the Jews.
How they,
But it stems from a
wait.
variety of things.
Did you take it all the way back to Mount Sinai?
Yeah, because I think people don't like the fact that we were considered the chosen people, that we were the ones that received the Torah.
You can't change that, though. They the ones that went down there and had that graven image. He was up there listening and communing with God. How they going to bring it all the way back to Sinai? That don't make no sense. They just trying to find something to argue about at this point.
Well, of course, none of it makes sense. It's the same reason why they call, Israel the great occupier, and why they say they're committing genocide. None of it makes actually any sense. But unfortunately, we have a media that's not too friendly to the Jewish people, and we have to combat that. And we have to raise our voices on social media.
Majority of people in the media, especially the pencil pushers and the owners, are Jewish. How you going against your own self? If you are a Jew and you own a media conglomerate, how you going against your own? That don't make no sense.
No, it drives me absolutely bonkers, insane. There's too many self-hating Jews. There are. It's a real problem. Majority of Jews are not affiliated with a religion. That's actually a fact. It's more than any other religion. Most don't know their history. They don't know the Torah values are aligned with conservative values. And I don't know if they still think that, and some of them just still think that the Democrat Party is the party of JFK. I think that some of it's just like they voted this way, their parents voted this way, their grandparents voted this way, and then the synagogues. I hate to say this, but also you brought it up, so I'll mention it. The Reform and conservative synagogues, primarily Reform, which is predominantly what most Jews, if they're not affiliated or even if they are affiliated, go to Reform synagogues. I just posted something the other day from a guy here in Dallas, a rabbi here in Dallas, one of the most prominent Reform synagogues, saying how we should not deport Mahmoud Khalil, the guy from Columbia University.
He hates him. The dude will kill. The dude would hurt him if he was face to face. Why wouldn't you want to deport someone that wants to hurt your kind? It doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. There's no common sense to it. It's an emotional argument. They don't understand the laws, the immigration laws in this country. Clearly, that rabbi and so many other people, not just him. But I made an example of him the other day because I couldn't believe that on a major Jewish holiday, you're preaching to your congregants that, first of all, comparing Trump to King Ahasuerus on Purim, saying he's a buffoonish character, issuing all sorts of ridiculous proclamations, number one, and then saying that thing about Mahmoud Khalil, how it's actually a good thing for our people to not deport this guy. It's unbelievable. It's a complete danger to all Jews, not just Jews, but it's like the old adage says: first they're coming for the Saturday people, and then they're coming for the Sunday people.
Yes.
So it affects Jews and Christians. And to that point, real quick, I also brought up the fact about these epic cities. You've probably been seeing about a lot of stuff going on about that. I've been in touch with our Attorney General Ken Paxton, Greg Abbott, a lot of our elected officials, putting pressure on them, and it's been effective. And I think a lot of people are joining me in this front to say, hey, these are Sharia law-run cities.
That's going to be a problem if you don't stop that. You know that, right? That's going to be a huge problem for Texas if that's not stopped.
Huge problem. It's right in our backyard, and it's a blueprint for the rest of the country. And so, thankfully, we're starting to see action being taken by Abbott and others. They just came down with them and actually they were doing illegal burials, which is disgusting in itself. There's a bunch of crazy stuff going on there, but yeah, we got some serious problems. But that's why I mentioned at the beginning, Jews and Christians really unite in a big way. Like we had 1,000 people one of our marches and rallies. We should have 10,000 people, 20,000 people. Like more people need to come and stand shoulder to shoulder with us. And I appreciate the heck out of everyone that's done it to this point. But we have the numbers. There's more good than there is evil. We have the numbers. We can combat what's going on, and we just have to continue to make our voices heard. And that's how you affect change. Is take away the funding from these people who are affecting these things. Like for instance, on college campuses, which is why I love what Trump did with Harvard recently, and that needs to continue taking away their funding. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we're stronger in numbers. We got the numbers.
And no offense, I love my president, and I love him putting the embassy over there. I still can't believe that when Bibi came to Washington during Biden, no Democrat pretty much showed up. I'm sitting here like, you got to be kidding me. If that ain't a spit in the face of the alliance that Israel is one of our strongest allies, for our sitting representatives to not show face there, and some of them was Jews, that's just a spit in the face.
Yes.
to our partnership with Israel. And when people realize that computers, a lot of computer chip, a lot of technology, a lot of instruments, a lot of this stuff came from the Jewish community in Israel, you will understand why it's such a big ally. Not because God told us to and commands us to stand beside the Jewish faith, but because this is how much we have partnered with Israel since they became a state, our nation. I don't understand how you're going to wait 50, 40 years later and just say, oh, that was a big mistake. Now let's just banish it from society. That's asinine.
I agree. You're right on the money. 100%.
See, this is why I keep my mouth closed. But I was invited to Kufi, and I hope I'm saying that right. Kufi.
Yes.
They usually have once a year a big event in Washington, D.C. And I was invited, and I went there. I had a great time. Not only did I have a great time, I learned. Not only did I learn, I did not know that the Jewish faith and the Jewish people was still pretty much suppressed. And with you standing out on your faith, you're standing out and you're trying to make this a nationwide thing, I commend you because I feel like it needs to be. I really do. I'm gonna stay an ally because I'm not gonna wait for Judgment Day to make that call. Never gonna happen. I'm commanded to support, and that's what I'm gonna do. So, what else do you want to see as not only being the person that you are in Texas, but now getting ready to be placed on the national platform with Turning Point. Take Turning Point out of it because you are a leader. So not only you are a leader in Texas, now you're going to be on the national level. What are two things you really want to hit the ground running with first?
Wow, there's so many things to go with, but I think it goes without saying that we need to make sure that, Israel is still going to always be a paramount thing for me. So, that's kind of been the theme of this discussion. I'll kind of stick with that one as being one of them because focusing on the safety, security of the Jewish people, as a Jew, I'm a Jew first. Mm-hmm. I'm an American second, I'm a conservative third. To me, if there's a threat against my people, whether it's at home or abroad, it affects me on a very deep personal level. That's something that was instilled in me as a child from a very young age, the love for the Jewish people in the land of Israel. So I want to be able to continue to use our platform to put on pro-Israel speakers, people that are educating people about what's going on in the Middle East and around the region, also raising money for IDF lone soldiers and their families, being able to affect change in that perspective as well. And then I also want to be able to, another thing that's near and dear to my heart, and I'll just, so many things another one is trafficking. We've done a lot of events over the years that are combating human trafficking and child sex trafficking and exploitation, which is very prevalent. In fact, Texas leads the nation in human trafficking cases, which is insane. And so there's so much more that needs to be done and said on that issue, and that's going on right here under our noses in DFW, and it's going on across the country, and it's definitely going on across in different places across the world. So if we can continue to highlight these issues and these topics for people so to educate them, that's really what it comes down to. Comes down to the end of the day for me. I want to be able to say this, and I get this from people all the time, and it makes me feel, warm and fuzzy inside, which is why I love what I do, which is that people say, wow, I learned so much. I didn't know this. I got the incredible speaker you guys brought in, and if I didn't come to this event, I would have no idea about this perspective or that perspective, and I'm going to take this, and then the next step to that is, and I tell people this, take that to your friends, your family, and go out and share the video that you took and the conversations you took away from that event, and share it with the masses. And that's how we grow, and that's how we grow the organization. We've grown to this point through primarily word of mouth. I haven't spent $1 on ad marketing and advertising. It's been really social media and word of mouth. And because people are searching for, to be part of something bigger than themselves, but also to be part of something where they feel like they can they can learn something new, and they can then use that information to make a difference in the lives of their family and their friends. And so that's what I ultimately want to do. And I think those two topics to answer your question, those two topics are first and foremost on my list.
Well, I have one, and then you have two. We got 2 minutes left. But here's what I want to see for you: that background you have, that background. I want to be able to see you one day standing right beside that desk, looking over down on Trump's shoulder as he's signing a piece of legislation that you presented for not only your organization, but for Jews and Israel. And I think you can do it because if you can see it, you can achieve it. And since you put yourself in the Oval Office, I think you're going to be in the Oval Office very soon.
Well, I can't say never to that. I'm not ready to make a t-shirt quite yet.
You didn't know that was the Oval Office? Look at the carpet.
Oh, I did. No, I did.
Yeah, he literally, if you
yeah,
can see
I'm envisioning it. I'm envisioning it.
If you can see it, you can achieve it. And all of the stuff that you're doing right now, not only in Texas and now getting ready to go to New York, you're just that closer to President Trump. And some of your ideas need to be put down in paper, put down in writing, and presented. And I'm telling you, you're going to be standing right there in that Oval Office, not because you push something, because you're a great man. And you never know, one day you might be president.
You never know, I never say never. Right now I'm giving everyone else a platform, but I may run for something one day. It's not out of the realm. If you don't mind, I want to just plug my upcoming events real quick too?
Yes, go ahead.
So I don't know if you can see this on here, but you'll probably you can put this on afterwards.
Is that Bridget? Her name Bridget?
Yeah, Brigitte Gabriel on Thursday, May 1st. And if you go to AmericanJewishConservatives.com, that's where you can see all of our events and get tickets. But that's at the Biblical Arts Museum on May 1st with Eric Stackelback and Brigitte Gabriel. That's going to be a phenomenal event. And then on April 8th, we have General Robert Spalding and Mark Fulmer talking about Ukraine-Russia war. And an audience discussion there, and he's going to be signing his book, so that's going to be fantastic. And then last but not least, the next thing coming up this weekend is the Dallas Kosher Chili Cook-Off. I don't know if you can see that kind of on your screen.
Yes.
But that's Make Chili Great Again. So come support our team. It's at Tiferet Israel in Dallas at 11 to 4 p.m.
Wait a minute, because this is Dallas. Y'all chili ain't like my chili. Y'all don't put beans in your chili.
No beans.
Hey, beans make the chili. It stretch out the meat.
I was told beans free, otherwise I get totally shafted. I don't know. Yeah.
Go ahead.
It'll be a fun time.
Continue plugging it in, and you have 2 minutes. I'm going to let you close us out with everything you want us to know, where to find you, your tag, your organization again, and go ahead.
Yeah, so all the information, all of our upcoming events, initiatives, how to become a member. We have new membership and partnership opportunities now. You can become a member as little as $5 a month, so it's a fantastic opportunity. Go to AmericanJewishConservatives.com, subscribe to our email list, or become a member or partner today. And our next events, as I mentioned, we have one on Sunday. Our next one's on April 8th and May 1st. We do events on everything from local, state, to federal level, of course, Israel, and so many other topics in between. So stay tuned for lots of good and informative announcements coming up. And I think the best days are yet to come. We're in the golden era here, in the golden age here.
Well, as long as, we are in the golden era. Hopefully he's not going to crack that sky because he's so sick of sin and turmoil and destruction. Continue doing the great work. Continue being the man of God that he has you to be. And continue standing up for your community, and not only your community, but our great nation and Israel. So I want to say thank you so much, Benji, because it's B-I-N-G. Never mind, I'm not going to do that. Benji is his name. So, Benji, you have a blessed one. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Have a blessed day. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. We at the end of the show. It is Fallback Friday. And Yaya. Is that Yaya? Are you a voting member of the NRA? My name is Lucretia Hughes NRA. I will never compromise my beliefs in God, family, our country, and my Second Amendment. I am running for the board of directors of the NRA, and I would appreciate your vote.